In comes Clovis. So let's talk about Clovis a little bit. So one of the Germanic tribes was known as the Franks. And this was in the Roman province of Gaul, and which is now mainly France and Switzerland, modern day France and Switzerland. So we have this Germanic people called the Franks who held power in this area, and their leader was Clovis. So in 496, he led his warriors against another Germanic army, and during the battle, he prayed to the Christian God. And we had kind of seen this before when we were looking at Emperor Constantine in the Roman Empire. So during this battle, he prayed to the Christian God, and he was victorious. So he went ahead and decided that him and his men could be baptized and become Christians. He heavily supported Christianity from this point on. By 511, he had united the Franks into one kingdom. So all of these different tribes in Frankish territory were kind of all combined into one. And the alliance between the Frankish kingdom and the church marked the start of the partnership between the two powerful forces. So by 600 AD, with the help of the Franks, the church had converted many of the Germanic tribes and the Germanic people of those areas and surrounding areas. So, with the help of the Roman Empire, obviously Christianity had grown and spread. We have Clovis, who comes into power and continues to help spread Christianity throughout Western Europe. And because of that, now we have a lot more structure in the church. So the church began to build religious communities called monasteries. And here we had these Christian men called monks who gave up actual private possessions and devoted their lives to serving God. We also had women as well who also followed suit, giving up everything and living at what are known as covents, and completely devoting their life to Christianity. So these monasteries also became Europe's best educated communities. So monks opened schools, they maintained libraries, they copied books. So keep in mind, at this time, Germanic tribes did not have the skills to read and to write. So it was really down to the monks and priests, and basically all of these higher up Christian officials to basically take on that task. And eventually, this is going to alter certain things for the future. So our papal power expands under Gregory the First. So in 590, we have Gregory the First, who becomes Pope, and he broadened the authority of the papacy, or this is the Pope's office. So he expanded it beyond the spiritual role and started looking more towards politics. So rather than just being the leader of Christianity, he starts to turn it into kind of its own empire or its own kingdom. He used the church revenues to raise armies. He repaired roads. He helped the poor. He negotiated peace treaties with invaders. He made the Pope's palace the center for the new Roman government. So the church is becoming a massive power at this point in time. And we can see here how the Franks have extended all throughout modern day France and into modern day Germany and Switzerland. And now we also have Pope Gregory kind of in this Lombard kingdom here, right, who is spreading his power using using Christianity as Pope. And then under Clovis, right, we have this kind of this connection between the two. Moving on a little bit more, we run into a gentleman named Charles Martel. So by 719 AD, we have a new Frankish leader had risen to power. His name is Charles Martel, also known as Charles the Hammer. He extended the Franks' reign around the kingdom, and he also defeated Muslim raiders from Spain in 732. So this is another thing that we have to keep in mind, because around this time, not too long before this, a new religion had started to spread in North Africa, and also over in the Middle East, and this is Islam, which we will talk about here shortly. So he defeats the Muslim raiders from Spain in 732 AD, saving the Christian Europeans from becoming part of the Muslim Empire, and his victory made him a Christian hero. So after his death, his son Pepin the Short took leadership and was granted king by the grace of God by the Pope at that point. So this really starts what became known as the Carolingian dynasty, and the dynasty is going to continue on with his son and his grandsons and so on. So following Pepin the Short's death in 768, his two sons would end up taking control of the kingdom, and his second one was named Charles, and this is the guy that we're going to focus on a little bit more. So Pepin the Short's son, Charles, took the throne and became known as Charlemagne, or also known as standing for Charles the Great. So during his reign, he actually built an empire greater than any known since the Roman Empire, since ancient Rome. He conquered new lands, and in the process, unlike the Roman Empire, he actually spreads Christianity because he supports it so much. So he reunited Western Europe for the first time since the Roman Empire, and he became the most powerful king in Western Europe. So in 800 AD, Charlemagne traveled to Rome to save the Pope from an unruly mob, and in gratitude, Pope Leo III actually crowned him Roman Emperor. So it's quite a title, being that the Roman Empire has long been gone. So Charlemagne took power from the nobles. He's gaining power above everyone else. He sent out royal agents to watch his lands. They made sure that his landholders, who are also called counts, govern their counties justly. In addition to sending people out to watch his territory, Charlemagne regularly visited every part of his kingdom. So he would constantly move around and meet the people and talk with his counts, and just to make sure everything's running smoothly. Now, a year before Charlemagne died in 814, he actually crowned his son Louis the Pious as emperor. Now, he turned out to be a very ineffective ruler, and Louis the Pious left his power to his three sons, which turned out to be a problem because Lothair, Charles the Bald, and Louis the German, they all ended up fighting one another for who could have control of the empire. So shortly after, in about 843 AD, they signed a treaty known as the Treaty of Verdun, which actually divided the empire into three kingdoms. And here we see that separation, right? We have the East Frankish Kingdom kind of over more towards in the German area, which was taken over by Louis the German. We also have Charles the Bald, who takes over the West Frankish Kingdom, which is a good portion of modern-day France. And then we also have this kind of central location here, which was taken over by Lothair, who is basically watching over like the Netherlands and Belgium and Switzerland and northern Italy, those general areas, also parts of France and Germany as well. So at the end of Charlemagne's reign, we have this breakup of the Western Europe, which was put back together by Charlemagne for at least a brief period of time, and eventually would end up back under the separation of different powers. And the the people of these areas would swear their oath and their loyalty to specific rulers. Again, those rulers will end up fighting one another, and we start to get into different kingdoms, so which we'll get into here in the next part. All right, guys, that's it for this part. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.